Before we start, let me apologize for not coming up with the content for about a month now. It's been difficult to come up with content on a regular basis, so we do hope that you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to donate, we will leave the link in the description below. Thank you. Now, on with the show.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What's up? What's down? What is going on around? I'm Paulo Leasing, founder of StartupInTaiwan.com. This show is to answer your questions about starting up in Taiwan, either for business, school, or just hanging around. So leave your questions in the comments section below. Our topic for today is about a foreigner who started his own board games, and we want to learn how he has done it. And I also want to learn the journey that he has as a foreigner here in Taiwan. Let's welcome Kurt Penny from Canada. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Thank you.
First question, why Taiwan?
Well, you know, I was living in Japan after I graduated high school, and I met my first wife, who's also Taiwanese, and so that's how I came here. So I first came here in 1997, and there weren't a lot of foreigners then.
Wow, that's quite a long time ago. Is there any particular consideration why you chose to live in Taiwan as opposed to maybe stay in Japan, since you were there since high school?
To be honest, I like Japan, Japanese people, but it's very rigid society, like very strict. I once heard somebody say it's the most exclusive club, and you don't want to be a member anyway. So it's it didn't suit my personality. Whereas I feel that Taiwanese people more easygoing, more flexible. It kind of suits my personality.
You're briefly touching on my next question. It's all about telling more about yourself. I know that you're from Japan. You've been here for quite some time now. So could you tell us more about your work background before starting up your board game?
Well, originally I'm from Canada, but I lived in Japan for 2 years. But I guess I consider myself first as a math teacher. Like, you know, in Canada, I taught algebra, geometry, calculus, of course. I'm a high school math teacher, junior high school too. But of course, in Taiwan, I tutor now, and I like tutoring. So I teach a combination of teaching English to kids, and also I tutor some of the international school students as well, like mathematics, science, or whatever. Not literature. I'm not a literature guy, but math and science or English. Yeah, that's what I'm good for.
I'm gonna jump straight to the topic in hand for today. It's all about your board games. Could you tell us more about it? I know it's a children's board game.
Yes. Well, actually, this is connected to teaching English because. I wanted to design some board games to help children speak more. I find that Taiwanese students are very shy and very quiet. With this particular game, the main thing I had in mind was just what can I do? Like, what can I make sure to, if I'm designing this game, what can I do to make sure to get them talking? Mm. And that turned out to be very successful because one of the important things about designing a board game is that when it's your turn, what are the other players doing? Like, are they just sitting there, you know, bored, waiting their turn? You know, that's kind of boring, right? So in my game, even though it's let's say 4 of us are playing, even though it's your turn, everybody, well, at least for half of the game anyway, it changes in a second, but for at least half the game, everybody's involved in everyone's turn. So and the reason why I designed that way was because I wanted people talking. I wanted to get the kids talking.
What's the mechanics of the game? Does it help facilitate with some sort of like English learning course or?
No, actually, sorry. Actually, the game it's language independent. You could play it in any language. It's geared towards students like 7 to 12 years old, and it gets them to think. There's like some logic involved, and of course it's got some luck as well. You got to feel lucky. It's a game of strategy and luck. But yeah, you have to. I would say one person described it this way. One person said that it's just complicated enough for, like, say 7 to 12-year-olds. Like it challenges them, but it doesn't overwhelm them.
So is this the first board game that you have made?
I think this was the first one, and then shortly after that, we came up with the ABC game.
Oh, wow. So you could also
Yeah.
talk about that.
Well, that's also connected to getting students, teaching students English. I remember one time I was complaining to my wife actually, and I said to her, who's my muse. My wife is my muse as well. I said, there's no board games that are very good for teaching the alphabet. Like we have lots of flashcards, and there's other games that you can play, but there's not one particular. So she said, stop complaining, make your own. So then I took her advice, and it took a while to come up with this. I think we got a winning design there. It's a very symmetrical and it's fun to play.
Now that you're mentioning this, I'm more interested in the second game that you mentioned. So how is it so far? Somewhat aligned with what Taiwan is trying to do right now, which is making sure that all the Taiwanese kids are able to learn English so that it could meet some of its long-term goals.
Despite the pandemic, we've been rather successful. Like when we went to the manufacturer, we printed out 1,000 of that game, 1,000 of each one actually of the ABC game. Yeah, and it's actually it's like 5 games in one. So you can, like, I don't know if you can see this here. It's only small. I guess you can see the full thing, but you can just have it like just a race to the Z, like nothing else. Just teach the little kids like ABC and the colors. You go A, B, C, D, and you follow the arrows around, and then you go to the Z, the first one that wins. And the first one that gets there is the winner. But we also have these cards. It comes with a set of cards. Here, like, I'll hold this up. Where's the screen? Can you see that?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so like the top part is like your traditional flashcard for kiddies, like L. And at the top, we have one short letter. Well, I'm sorry, one short vowel, right?
Okay.
But then then as you go down, you see there's 3 new words and a blank space to add your own word. And so that then it gets into long vowels and consonant blends and gets progressively more complicated.
So could you tell us more about the process of making a board game? For example, I know that sometimes you also need to apply for patents or for, I don't know, other legal stuff that you need to do to make sure you get your game out there without anyone just copying it.
Well, we checked into that. There's no patent process here in Taiwan, but you do need to submit your board game. They'll do tests on it to make sure there's no chemicals, like maybe some toxic chemicals in there. And no, we had to submit. And then at the back of the game, I don't know if you get like a little stamp. Well, it's on the outside now. I guess it was on the sticker on the outside. Oh yeah, but you have to Taiwan's a very regulated country, right? So you have to submit your board game, and they analyze and they test it, make sure that it's safe for the society. It's pretty standard though. I mean, I think if you get a Taiwanese partner or someone, they know what that you can search it. Yeah.
Do you need to like register your business if you want to start this kind of company, or you just need to start selling it?
No, we didn't need to register anything at all. No.
But you're able to sell it because you also got approvals for, let's say, chemical content of the games, because this will be consumed by mostly children, right?
I'm pretty sure that we didn't. Yeah, we're definitely legally able to sell these board games here in Taiwan. I don't think we're registered as anything. I don't think so. I don't think we need to be, because we're just like a mom and pop small organization.
Yes.
But you do need that certification. You do need that seal of approval that it's okay. We do everything by the book. There's no under the table stuff. No.
How profitable is this venture?
Oh, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, for example, like in Taiwan alone, every year there's about 100 new board games. And our profit margin is very low, like, very, very low. We sell our price, for example, this Snakes and Lilies here, nice strong box, good quality. We only sell this on the box here. It says, I think $5.99, but we sell it for $500, which is rather cheap compared to other games.
Yeah, and especially Taiwan also imports a lot of games.
Every year, like Taiwan, there's 100 new board games, but I think worldwide there's something like 8,000 new board games every year. We're coming out with a second version in a not too distant future. Hopefully by Christmas we'll have a second version. the second edition. I think you're going to ask me about it if whatever tips I have for people who want to design a board game.
Yes.
I can tell you there's a lot of information online on YouTube videos about if you're going to make a board game. But I can just tell you a couple of quick ones. It's like number one, I think was very important, is when you design your board game, think about like what are the other players doing when it's one player's turn, right? Like, are they sitting there waiting, or try to get them involved somehow. That's why recently these in the past few years, cooperative games. I think there's one popular one called Pandemic. It's more Pandemic. That's so try to get everybody involved. Don't be sitting around like when I guess you played Monopoly, right?
Yes.
Well, anyway, like in Monopoly, you're just basically you do nothing until it's you wait your turn, and then which can be like could be like 5-10 minutes long, can be boring. So I think that's number one, is think about what's everyone doing, get them involved. But I think even the one other thing I'm going to add, a little tip I picked up is which is the hardest thing, is learning to find the balance between succeeding and failure in the game. Like you don't want to make it too easy to win or too easy to fail.
Okay. You've been here in Taiwan for quite some time, around 20 years. Do you have any piece of advice for anyone who wants to, start a life here?
Yeah, check your emotional baggage at the airport, please. And try to leave your politics and your preconceptions at home. I mean, look, like in Taiwan, harmony is more important than perhaps certain truth. And like, so for example, I'm sick of hearing about foreigners complaining about the traffic, because I think if Taiwanese, the traffic, like the cars, motorcycles, buses and all, it's hectic, right? It is kind of hectic, but I find a lot of Taiwanese, they use their heart. They use their heart and they use their empathy more than a rule.
Or try to go to Manila, I guess, where I'm from, and then they come back here. They will feel traffic is not a problem. As a foreigner in Taiwan, do you have some sort of like observations on how Taiwan in general could improve the lives of foreigners here?
Well, maybe I think perhaps you're asking the wrong guy. I live in my own little bubble. I don't get out so much, and I've been married for many years, so I don't experience some of the hardships other foreigners who come here. But I think since you brought this question, I do feel that if a foreigner comes to Taiwan and they've shown themselves to be contributing to society, and they don't have any criminal records or whatever, I think they should be easier. There should be an easier path to get citizenship. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
How can our show help you?
Get on Facebook or on I think we're on Shopee or some of the other online programs, and Google Snakes and Lilies. I can tell you right now, kids will love this game from 7 years old to 12 years old. If they don't love this game, I will eat it. Okay, I will eat this game.
So what we will do is provide the URL links for where they could buy Snakes and Lilies, as well as the other game that you just showed us. Let's do fast round. What is your daily breakfast?
Every day the same thing. Cup of tea. I'm Canadian. We drink tea. A cup of tea, bowl of oatmeal, and some almonds and maybe blueberries.
What show are you currently watching on Netflix?
I'm about to watch the final episodes of Better Call Saul.
Are you a morning or night person?
I like to study in the morning, but I'm not a morning person at all. Like I get up early and I study my Chinese, but yeah, I'm not a morning person. Don't talk to me.
Android or iOS?
See, I'm not even tech savvy. I don't even know. I'm not even sure. I guess I'm Android. I think I have an Android.
Do you have a Mac or PC?
I have a PC.
Favorite board games other than yours?
The Connect 4.
Okay.
The Connect 4, you got to make 4 in a row. But the problem with that kind of game is that it's all strategy, right? It's fun. That's probably one of the few games that's all strategy and still fun to play. Like a good game for kiddies is mixes strategy and luck. Sorry.
Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Well, let's see. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, 7. That was a great movie. Bit old now.
Favorite book?
Well, as a teacher, and anyone out there is really interested in becoming like a real teacher, like help you, there's a great book on classroom management. It's called The First Days of School by Wong and Wong. So for me, I mean, that really helped me with my classroom management. I do comedy too, and the one I'm introduced on stage, I tell the guy to say, please lower your expectations, because our next performer says he's only read 10 books in his life, and 7 of them were Harry Potter.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm not an avid reader, but I appreciate people who've developed that habit.
Yeah, send me the link to that book about passion for teaching. I'm quite into that, so I want to learn more about how to properly do it.
If I just tell you quickly, everything I learned in that book, First Days of School, was more important than most of what I learned in the Faculty of Education. So yeah, I'll definitely send you the link for that as well.
Okay. Favorite Taiwanese food?
You know, it changes. And when I first came here, I couldn't stop eating lychee and the dragon eye. I go, wow, this fruit is great. But now I guess I'm trying to eat healthier. So I like a lot of the hot pot, huoguo, that's very yummy. And I like, for the fruit now, I'm more into shijia. Okay. You know, the bumpy one.
I'd like to break your heart a little bit, but they say that hot pot is actually not healthy. But it's also my favorite.
Yeah, especially not so much now. I find it's too hot now, but when it's when it's cooler weather. Yeah, I like a good.
What's your not so favorite Taiwanese food?
Number 1 would be the zhu gao, like the pig blood. It looks like a square, looks like a chocolate bar, but it's black, pig blood thing. And I don't understand how Taiwanese can eat the chicken feet. I don't know how you do that. I don't know.
That's our last question. Kurt, thank you for joining our show. For our audience, please do subscribe, and we hope that you all have a great day. Kurt, thank you again.
Well, thank you. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.